What's going on, everyone? So today is going to be the first video in a long series of videos where I'm going to literally explain my entire thought process behind every single buy and sell that I make from here on out. I am a successful trader. I post all of my trades on Twitter live, and I took those timestamps for the buy and the sell signals, made a document, and we're about to go through all that information right now. So the information that I'm about to give you guys, people offer me thousands of dollars a month. People have offered me hundreds of dollars an hour just for me to explain all of this information to them. But I'm about to give you guys all of this information completely for free. All right, so as you can see, I posted 6 trades today, and one of them didn't work. What I first want to do before diving into all of these different trades is I want to give you guys my overall market outlook before the trading day even began, okay? So what I'm looking at first is how all of the major indices are doing in the pre-market. So that means that the SPY, the QQQ, and the IWM. All right, so all 3 of them were actually very, very bullish heading into today. So if you look at yesterday's close, essentially we all gapped up, right? So if you look at the daily candle, first of all, right? The other thing I do is I look at the daily candle before heading into the day as well. So I need to look at the daily outlook. So if a stock looks like it's going to bounce in the next few days, the overall outlook of that stock is going to be bullish, all right? If the market opens and if the SPY, the QQQ, and the IWM are all bullish heading into the day. So as you can see today, right? We closed down here at 445, right? We opened at 448. So you can also see the same on the NASDAQ. We closed down here, but we opened up here. And on the IWM, we closed down here, but we opened up here, right? So the overall outlook of the market heading into the day was very, very bullish, right? So when that usually does happen, right, you start to lean towards calls, right? So if the main 3 indices are bullish, you can assume that, you know, all of the bullish patterns and setups are going to play out correctly. And, you know, the overall outlook of the market is bullish. So buying long and getting into calls would be the most profitable thing to do, right? So going back, you can see that the first trade that I posted was at 9:44 a.m. Why did I wait until 9:44 a.m.? So now if you go back to the SPY and you look at the 1-minute chart again, right? Because that is predominantly the chart that I look at when day trading. I just look purely at the 1-minute chart. So the market opened up very, very high, right? You can see that it gapped up. This is the SPY, for example. And I was watching the SPY, the QQQ, and the IWM in the morning, basically watching to see which indice is going to lead, which indice is going to show the most strength, etc., etc. But what ended up happening was for the first 15, so we opened up here, right? Things looked pretty good, but then we started to really, really fall into, you know, 9:45, not all the way until 9:50. Essentially, we really just started to tumble. So this was not a good sign to buy into any longs just yet, right? We needed to wait for the market to even out. So all of this right here, that is an invalidation of this gapping up, essentially, right? So we gapped up, things looked very, very bullish, but then once the market opened, it corrected itself. So I waited until we started to really even out, and I posted a trade at 9:44 a.m. You can see that the SPY is starting to even itself out over here, okay? So my first trade was Mara at 9:44 a.m., okay? Let's go ahead and check out Mara. All right, here's a chart of Mara. I got into Mara calls at 9:44 a.m. Everything, Mara was pumping, while the SPY and the rest of the indices were dumping. So I look to see how Bitcoin is doing when I want to trade Mara. Okay, so this is a chart of Bitcoin, the 1-minute chart, and this is 9:30 a.m. Bitcoin. And as you can see, Bitcoin pumped from 45,600 essentially to almost 47,000 in 15 minutes, right? So I saw extreme strength in Bitcoin, but a lot of weakness in the rest of the indices market. So I was like, okay, it's too late for me to really day trade anything short. I don't want to, chase any shorts here. I just want to wait for everything to even out. But I clearly see extreme strength in Bitcoin. And then I looked at Mara, and I saw Mara also skyrocketing. So what I needed to do was I needed to wait for Mara to take a bit of a break, and to give me a solid trade, right? So I wanted it to, so essentially people over here that bought in all the way in through here, they needed to take some profit, right? Also, Bitcoin had already skyrocketed thousands of dollars by the time I entered the trade, right? So I entered the trade at 9:44 a.m., right? And Bitcoin had moved so much already that people would also like consider like a movement in Mara to also begin to stop because Bitcoin already moved so much, okay? So I entered this trade at 9:44 a.m. Why? I also said that it needed to hold 34. I said that it needed to hold 34.80, right? I believe I said that it needed to hold that level. So this is the 1 minute chart, and 9:44 a.m. I entered. What I'm looking at is the MACD was extremely overbought for the first 15 minutes, right? And you can see that the MACD is extremely overbought right here on the 1 minute chart. And that's not a good time to buy. I want to wait for it to become oversold. And I also want the price action to not, be so overextended outside of the Bollinger Bands. And I also want it to, even out and create some sort of a buying opportunity. So I saw that we were moving up very, very high. We fell drastically. And what ended up happening to the MACD was we were very overbought, and then we became extremely oversold. So by the time I entered the trade, we became sharply oversold compared to where we were in regards to the MACD. The RSI was also extremely overbought, and then it became oversold. So I saw that as a good buying opportunity. So I saw we held support here twice at 34.80, essentially, right? And I saw that as a good stop loss opportunity for me to automatically exit the trade if the price fell down below. So at 9:44, I posted that I was buying into Mara calls. I got in at 145. I sold at 9:46. So at 9:45 right here, or 9:44 right here, we made we had two levels of support. We had a third level of support that, we ended up moving on higher. And then when I posted the trade, we began to break above these two levels of resistance. So this top of the candle right here, and then the top of the candle right here, we began breaking above it when I posted, right? And we skyrocketed up all the way up here within 2 minutes. And then I sold for $30 per contract at 9:46 within 2 minutes. And the reason for that was because things looked very overextended, and we didn't make as much of a move compared. The option price did not move as much compared to what I thought it would move. And it looks like algorithms or other traders also picked up on that, which is why this was the top for the day, and that was the top of the trade. So I sold at 9:46, essentially the highest for that time and for that trade. But all in all, for this trade, I saw that there was two levels of support. It was a great opportunity. Very bullish move, right? It needed some sort of a consolidation. We found support, and I didn't even look at this candle here. This was also support. So there was 3 layers of support, all at the same candle, essentially. That was going to be my stop loss. Quick move, boom, shot up, and that was a great trade. So that's the first trade, right? Second trade, we're going to go over the SPY put that I posted at 10 a.m. So by now, we know that the market is extremely, it should be bouncing, whatever, but things are looking very, very bad. And, we did bounce a bit, but overall, the market was very, very bearish. So I got into a put at 10 a.m. So why did I get into a put at 10 a.m.? So, let's fix this up and that. All right. So essentially, I was still in Mara, while all this was going on. This would have been a great put opportunity because you could see the MACD was extremely overbought. This was just a clear dead cat bounce. This looks like a retrace back to, I think, the 38.2% fib level. It bounced all the way back to the 50% fib level, actually. And it just showed overall weakness. Anyway, I entered at 10 a.m. And the reason why I entered was when, after a huge move like this, right, a downward move, and we bounce back up, that is a bear flag, right? And bear flags are extremely bearish patterns. So I saw that we ended up breaking down below that bear flag, and then we started creating some sort of a support. And I did not think that we were going to hold that level of support, because also in my other videos, I was saying that the SPY was going to break, because I looked at the daily candle and I saw that the SPY, a good place for it to fall down to would be 445. So right now, the SPY was trading at 447. So my entire thesis today was, okay, the SPY should definitely test 445 today, because I looked at the daily candle and I saw that there was an amazing short opportunity, especially since we were very close to highs, and this was just a very good short opportunity all in all. We saw a bear flag, we saw it break down below that bear flag and then start to consolidate. And I saw this consolidation as a swing play. I didn't take it as a day trade. I bought contracts 2 weeks out. And within literally a minute. So when did I post this? I posted this at 10 a.m. You could go back to my Twitter and look at the exact timestamps. But 10 a.m. Literally at 10:01 a.m. this vomited almost $1 to the downside, and then it just continued falling. And then I sold at 10:08 a.m. and I was up, I think, 23% within 8 minutes on a contract that I bought 2 weeks out. I was expecting to hold this contract for a few days, but the downward move literally happened so quick. I was like, okay, I'm just going to take this quick profit and move on to the next trade. Yeah, so this really just worked out perfectly. And okay, 1 second. Oh yeah, sorry. One other thing that I was looking at was, yeah, we were creating a very good level of support, right? But the indicators sharply fell from overbought to oversold right here, right? But they were not going higher. So what I ended up seeing was the RSI was starting to move upward, but the price was not following, and things just, it did not seem right to me. In the moment of me watching this, the MACD being this oversold, it should have signaled that we would bounce off of this level way sooner. But that's not what ended up happening. So, and I also saw we were extremely oversold. We were extremely overbought on the MACD, and then we only became this oversold right here at -20. You can see the blue line right there, right? We only became this oversold after being that overbought. So I was like, you know what? Algos are definitely going to want the RSI to even out and go to oversold, and they're going to want the MACD to also become oversold. And things were extremely bearish. We had a bit of a pop, and now I definitely think that the SPY is going to make new lows. And that is exactly what happened. The RSI became oversold, so that was a much better buying opportunity than this was, right? Because we were just trading in the middle of the RSI over here when things were looking very bearish. And then the MACD became extremely oversold, which is, again, a much better buying opportunity. So yeah, essentially that's why I bought into those puts for that play, and it worked out pretty well. So the trade that did not work out today was the AMC call that I posted at 10:12 a.m. All right, and I said at 10:12 a.m. that 51.33 must hold. So let's go ahead and check out AMC at 10:12 a.m. And automatically, what I'm looking at for AMC is that essentially when AMC and GME are both doing well, the overall stock market is not doing well. So they act as an inverse. So I saw weakness in the SPY and the rest of the indices. So automatically I thought, okay, there's going to be potential strength in AMC and GME, right? So let's go to 10:12 a.m. 10:12. All right. So 10:12 a.m. All right. Again, this was purely, we saw that the MACD was extremely oversold, right? And the RSI was flattening. You know, this isn't always the best sign, but, you know, I'm not just trading off of one indicator, right? So I saw clear levels of support right here, and that's why I said it must hold 51.33. The low of this candle was 51.34, right? So we see solid support at 51.33, and I posted at 10:12 that I was getting into calls, and that 51.33 must hold. Clearly this support level did not hold, and what ended up happening was the RSI at the time, so I posted it, I mean, you know, I entered the trade at 10:11, whatever, time stamped 10:12, right? So what I saw was the RSI began moving up very quickly compared to you know, what it should have been moving. So it should not have been moving up this sharply compared to the move that it made. And that was you know, I was like, damn, this trade is most likely not going to work. And it didn't, because essentially, as you're going to continue watching these videos, and as I, you know, talk more about this, it'll make more sense to you. But if the RSI is very sensitive to a move, to a specific move, that shows that that move is not sustainable. So if, for example, it moved from 51.68.9 to 51.80, right? That's like 10 cents, right? But if the RSI like skyrocketed to, you know, overbought territory from 50 to 70, that is extremely bearish, because the RSI is not supposed to be moving that much. Does that make sense? So here, obviously, it's not as drastic of a move, but I saw that, you know, the RSI is not supposed to be moving this much. The MACD is also not supposed to be moving this much. And I just took my chances. I saw that the MACD was crossing up above. And, you know, I posted the play. Whatever happens, happens. 51.33 was solid support. And at this point, you know, I already posted 2 winning plays. Like, I wasn't even thinking... when I trade, I don't think about, oh my god, I was right for this many trades, I have to be right for the next one, blah blah blah. Like, I just see in the moment, I see a solid support level. The market overall is bearish, so I am bullish AMC, right? And the MACD was extremely oversold this entire time, but it worked off of everything very poorly. The RSI became very sensitive, the MACD became very sensitive, and that's why this level did not hold as support. But overall, I think that it was a good trade, regardless of whether it worked out or not. Okay, so there was that third trade, right? We sold at 10:14 as it broke down below. And, you know, at that point, I just had my finger on the trigger, ready to sell, because I saw that there was weakness a minute ago, that this huge candle was not supposed to happen. And, yeah, I mean, not that it wasn't supposed to happen, just that it looked very, very bearish, right? So I got ready to sell as it broke below 51.33, as I said, and I sold, right? Next trade, Tesla call at 10:37 a.m. Okay, so Tesla, 10:37 a.m. Going to the minute chart, Tesla was an absolute beast today, right? You can see that it, you know, really recovered all of these it was down like $40, right? And I saw that we fell so much during the day that I thought, you know, Tesla is definitely going to have a bounce. So I saw Tesla as a good buying opportunity to get into calls, especially because it was down so heavily today. So at 10:37, I posted that I was getting into calls. Let's go to 10:37. Why did I enter into calls? All right. So, okay, so clearly you can see that Tesla fell very, very sharply, right? So now zooming in a bit more, it looks like, so I was looking at Tesla and I said, okay, it looks like Tesla created a bottom, right? We created a bottom, and now essentially I wanted to wait for a good buying opportunity, right? I needed to wait for some sort of a bullish pattern to be created. So I posted this at 10:37, right? So the first big pullback was at 10:30 on Tesla, right? And we pulled back to essentially the level at 10:20. This area essentially, right? And it was just the lower wick. It got filled up, and you know we continued on higher. So I wanted to wait for another good pullback opportunity, and I saw that we became much more overextended over here at 10:34, and then we really sharply fell downward. And I saw that that was a really, really good opportunity to buy into it, because this was very, very weak, right? But Tesla had already fallen $40 by now. And if we continued falling based off of this candle, then Tesla, you know, this is so weak, because when you're looking at the MACD at this point, it's oversold, right? The RSI is also stagnant. It's in the middle, right? This entire time, the RSI has literally like barely moved. Okay? So this candle as well barely made the RSI move. So again, that was a good indication to me that we can still continue on higher. The fact that the RSI did not go down at all after a $3 move to the downside, right? So even now, like even as we fell down to 716, down to this bottom wick at 1035, we're still oversold on the MACD, and the RSI is still flat, which means that, you know, there's, again, like if something shows sensitivity towards a direction, that means that the direction is not going to work out. So over here, it was flat, and we didn't show any weakness towards the downside. So what that told me was, okay, like we're showing strength in the RSI, the MACD is still oversold, and you know what? I'm just gonna take a chance here at Tesla because we fell $40. I'm gonna get into Tesla calls at 10:37, right? So I was looking at all of this, and I saw that I wanted to get into something as close to 716.26 or 716.46 as possible. So those were going to be my two stop loss opportunities. And at 10:36, the MACD was still oversold, sharply oversold. You can see that it sharply fell, right? In between these two candles, it sharply fell here. And the RSI was beginning to move upward. So I was like, all right, you know what? Good time to buy into calls. And it was a very good time to buy into calls. I bought into calls at 380, somewhere here, right? At 718 or 718 something, right? As we broke above the prior candle, I posted that. But what ended up happening was, yes, Tesla did move upward in the next 4 minutes, right? Because I sold at 10:41 a.m. But this move was very, very drastic to the upside, but the return in the option price itself was not as profitable as it should have been. So any other day, this call should have went from 3.8 to like 4.5 if this move were to happen. So we caught it at 718, we sold it at like 721. And if 721. So that was a $3 move within a few minutes. That should have been at least a 30 or 40% gain. And I only saw a $20 gain from 3.8 to $4. I did like, that was way too weak for me, right? Especially since the RSI really began to move upward much stronger now, and also because the MACD began to become very, very overbought, and also because we were trading outside of the Bollinger Bands. So all three of those reasons were warning signals to me. I didn't, I mean, it wasn't worth it for me to stay in this day trade and just watch like a $5 gain, a $10 gain in the option contract after the stock itself has been moving dollars, So I sold that and I, moved on to the next trade. So then I got into Mara again at 10:45 a.m. All right, Mara call, 10:45 a.m. Let's go to the 1 minute chart. Okay, 10:45, 10:45. Okay, here we go. Again, the MACD sharply fell, right? So this sharply fell, yet it was still in a very bullish pattern, right? So, and the RSI was barely moving. So again, that was a very, that was a very good opportunity to get into longs, right? So when I posted 10:45, right? Okay, and then I think I shared when I wanted to sell that it needed to hold a certain level. Yeah, it needed to hold 35.5. So why did I say 35.5? 35.5? The hell? All right, I think what I meant was 34.5. But yeah, you guys got the point. Anyway, so we sharply moved upwards, right? So again, like I was watching Mara, I saw that Mara was really starting to fall now, right? And this looked very similar to Tesla to me, right? We just got out of a Tesla trade, it worked out well, and I wanted to take a stab at Mara with the same mental framework. So I'm going into a trade knowing that it just fell very, very sharply, and now I'm basically waiting for it to create a bottom, and then I want to see it start to, turn upward and then get a good buying opportunity. So I found one at 10:45 a.m. The reason for that is because we found a bottom, right, on Mara at around 10:20. We start bouncing around, and then this candle right here, where we traded outside of the upper level of the B band, was a good opportunity, in my opinion, to see to continue monitoring it. So once we failed, obviously, this overextension, I wanted to buy a dip. So I saw a dip opportunity right here. I made a very tight, very loose stop loss at 34.50, right? Essentially at this level right here. And I got into calls at 10:45 a.m. So I got calls essentially as we were breaking above these levels of resistance here at 10:44. And this low right here, we started breaking above it. It was at 34.89. So this was a really good opportunity if, this was a very good reversal opportunity if Mara continued on higher, right? So I got in at 10:45 and I posted that I sold at 10:48. So 10:45 is right here. And I sold at 10:48. Again, like the MACD, extremely oversold. RSI heading into the trade was flat. By the time the trade, began, the MACD, look at what happened to the MACD. Like, very sharply moved upward, right? Great. It was, worked out fantastic, right? We've retraced back essentially at 10:47. That's fine also, because at this point we're still profitable. It doesn't really make a difference. But then this other move upward here, the MACD began to be very overbought. The RSI, now it began to flatten out a bit. And this was not, at this point also another reason why I sold is because we popped very, very hard, right? But it was moving too slow. So the option contract itself, similar to what happened earlier in the day with Tesla, it should have been at 450, right? But it was only at 4. So this should have been essentially at like $2, maybe 180, 190, but it was only at 1.7. So I sold profitably on a good note. And essentially that was, when people really like took profits, and then it fell way lower afterward. And then people found a bottom once more, and then here we are, right? So That's why I sold. I didn't like the price action, and I didn't like how great of a move it made, yet the option contract did not move in unison with it. Okay. There's that trade. And now for the final trade of the day, I got into AMC calls at 10:54 a.m. 30-minute video so far. I hope you guys enjoyed this video so far. We're going to go into this trade right now. All right, so I posted AMC must hold 50.87 at 10:54, right? So 10:54 right here, and I said that it needed to hold 50.87. So why 50.87? Right here, we clearly made multiple levels of support. AMC was falling very sharply, right? Afterward, we found a bottom here, and then we created a very strong move upward. Literally exactly what I was saying last time, last trade with Mara, right? We found a bottom, made a huge upward move, overextended outside of the upper level of the B band. Exactly what I was saying with Mara, and then I was waiting for a pullback, right? So that pullback had a support of 50.87 or whatever I just said, right? And I posted that at 10:54, I think. 10:54, right? Okay. So I posted that trade at 10:54. I wanted this level as support. If we broke down that level as support, I'm automatically selling. I don't care. And 10:54, right here, the MACD was extremely oversold. So what happened was we were extremely overbought, and then we became extremely oversold while still in a bull flag, while still in a bullish formation. So that is very, very bullish, okay? And also we can see, you know, the RSI was starting to move upward here, you know, reversing from its extreme oversold. So everything was really pointing that things were about to start moving upward. Things were starting to look very, very bullish. So that's why I shared the trade. And at 10:54, I shared the trade. That was the support level. Must hold 50.87. Cool. And we skyrocketed. The next minute at 10:55 was a huge green candle. And then, you know, we retraced back a bit. And then we made new highs once more. And then even more highs. And then even more highs. Right? So a move like this is supposed to be very, very profitable. We moved essentially 50 cents on AMC. Essentially, the contract should have been much more profitable, but I only saw an increase from 284 to 298. And the reason why I sold at 11 a.m., right? I sold at 11 a.m. right here at the top, right here. Not exactly the top, but I sold here because the option contract was not following as much of, you know, the price of the option was not increasing as much as the price of the underlying stock. So I saw that as weakness and potential downside. You know, it was a warning signal. I made profit and I was happy with it. I didn't want to stick around in this stock any longer and see what it would do, because this was a very, very bullish, strong move, but yet the price of the option did not show that. So I sold here. I took my money, and a few minutes later, we ended up falling all the way back down, and that was great. But then, of course, you know, the market began to rally, and yeah, overall, really good trading opportunity for that play, right? I felt like I rambled a bit in this video, but I hope I really, really, you know, with this new series that I'm creating, I really hope that I'm gonna bring you guys a lot of value and show you guys exactly what I'm thinking, why I'm thinking certain things. As you can see, it's really not that complicated. You just have to move on. That's you have to not be afraid of failing. You have to move on very, very quickly. And especially, like, for example, right, I'm not trying to, you know, tout my own horn or anything like that, but when I share my plays, right, it's very easy to be gripped with extreme fear when you're sharing trades with other people, with thousands of other people, because you know, if you're wrong, then potentially many other people are going to be wrong as well. So you don't want to make So like your mind can be clouded with, oh my god, I don't want to be wrong, this, that, blah, blah, blah. But very simply, like, okay, I see a level of support here. That's great. If it breaks down below that level of support, I'm selling. The reason why I'm entering in this level is because we, etc., 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 etc. So as long as you have multiple reasons why you're entering a trade, that should be all that matters. If you don't know why you're entering a trade and you don't know where you're going to sell, if the trade starts going against you, then you should not enter the trade. Okay? So, this is the first video. Please tell me, you guys, like, what you guys would like better, what I should do differently, etc. Again, I'm sorry if I rambled a lot. I am friggin' exhausted. And, yeah, I honestly, this is gonna be really fun for me because, like, I've never really explained why I enter trades. So this is gonna be a new process for me to develop and become better at as well. So hopefully I'll become more concise. I'll learn how to explain things to you guys much better, and I'll be like a better teacher to you. So yeah, other than that, I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I will see you guys tomorrow. Have an amazing day.